Today we are in Cambridge, and this last day of autumn I want to invite you for a walk. In a quiet land where gentle winds softly whisper amongst the trees and the river Cam wanders slowly towards the Celtic Sea, there arose a tale of legendary city, a symbol of wisdom and knowledge, Cambridge. This enchanting place, filled with magic and wonder, intertwines the dreams of its people with history as hearts open to the pursuit of knowledge. Cold autumn day in 1209, a group of scholar monks arrived in the town. The Oxford cradle became too tight for them. For many long days, they roamed the island in search of a new home and found it here. At that time, the streets of Cambridge were fragrant with the aromas of freshly baked bread and warm pastries, while the bursting marketplaces resonated with the joyous music of life during festive occasions. In this new heaven, they united, taking their first steps towards a vibrant academic life. Their hearts were filled with strong desire to explore, inspired by the university spirit that lived within the old churches and meeting houses. In small rooms lit only by a candlelight, the first lectures took place, creating a special atmosphere of learning. This was where the new ideas emerged, leading to important changes. The students of that era, mere children by our standards, aged 14 to 15, occasionally caused considerable trouble not only for their teachers but also for their townsfolk. The locals, in turn, were keen to profit from these uninvited guests, sometimes inflating the prices of food and accommodation to the extent that the budding scholars couldn't barely scrape together enough for bread and water. Recognizing this injustice, King Henry III resolved to protect the scholars so that none would suffer from greed or misunderstanding. He decreed that only those studying under a recognized master could reside in the city. The majority of graduates were clergy or clerks. Some served the church, while others took position in the state as diplomats, judges, or royal officials. Over the centuries, construction began on the building that stands today, known as the Old Schools. By the early 16th century, the first chair, that of theology, was established. At the invitation of the rector, John Fisher, scholars from around the world began to arrive, including Erasmus of Rotterdam. During the reign of Henry VIII, not only grand buildings of new colleges emerged, but also a new type of students arrived. That was the first instance of student life as we know it today, a time of youth, fun, and a bit of study. Yet, how much excitement could one find in Greek, Latin, math, and theology? Chemistry, astronomy, anatomy, biology, and geology were elevated to respected departments only 100 years later, when Isaac Newton joined the university as a head of the mathematics. Further changes awaited the university during the Victorian era. Math, the queen of science, which had reigned supreme to several centuries, with physics and astronomy as its handmaidens, gradually made way for engineering. The great geographical discoveries prompted scholars to explore languages, including Arabic, Indian, modern and ancient European and Eastern languages. Halls dedicated to study of art, architecture and archaeology were created under the will of Sir Richard Fitzwilliam, who also funded the museum that bears his name today. On the site of the old botanical garden, a new museum was built, eventually becoming home for Cavendish Laboratory of Experimental Physics. In the second half of the 19th century, during the reign of Queen Victoria in England, 2 women's colleges were established. However, it was almost a century later, in 1947, that women became full-fledged members of academic community. Remarkably, men at Cambridge also faced restrictions. Until 1860, students were prohibited from getting married. It is no coincidence that the academic degree of bachelor resembles the English word for unmarried man. By the end of the 19th century, the authority of Cambridge scholars was beyond dispute. To be a Cambridge professor became a prestigious, honorable, and highly responsible role. It is no surprise that University of Cambridge is associated with the highest number of Nobel Prize winners. 130 scholars, researchers, and alumni have worked, studied, or conducted research here. Today, Cambridge is more than just a city. It's a universe where knowledge comes to life. It is a place where everyone can discover their calling, where the hearts of educators and students unite in an ecosystem of love and wisdom. Within its walls, new ideas continue to be born. The future intertwines with the past, and Cambridge remains a symbol of hope and knowledge for the entire world. This tale of Cambridge, the eternal city of knowledge and love, will live on in the hearts of those who believe in the power of education. May its history continue to inspire new generations.